Alright, today I'm going to be disabling and removing the pair system and installing a set of block-off plates on my bike. Alright, the pair system, what is it and why would you want to get rid of it? Well, the pair system is basically just that. It's a system that's on your bike so that it meets the stricter emission standards that all vehicles have to meet nowadays. And it does this by injecting fresh oxygen into your exhaust ports so that it mixes with your exhaust gases on the way out and creates a more complete burn. As exhaust gases come out of your exhaust, there's still some combustible gases in there. The addition of the extra oxygen will basically allow for a more complete burn of those hydrocarbons. Now, this is all well and good, assuming that your bike is in complete stock form. But if you start fiddling with little things and start tuning for performance, well, then the system goes out of whack. When you add an aftermarket pipe, when you put freer flowing air filters, when you start making performance tuning changes, then the pair system becomes largely useless. It's extra clutter on the bike, it's extra complication on the bike. And worst of all, the worst symptom of the pair system on a bike that's been tuned for more performance is you get a lot of popping and burping on deceleration when you're off throttle, and it's not particularly pleasant, so it's something that I want to get rid of. Now, the pair system is called the pair system because it used to be called the pulse air system, and it's now known as the pulse air injection system. Now, that's not a perfect match, I know, to PAIRS as an acronym, but it used to be called the pulse air system, hence pairs. Now, this extra oxygen gets added at the exhaust ports. It doesn't get added during combustion, it happens post-combustion. So fiddling with your pair system or removing your pair system will not add power. It won't lessen the power of your bike. The biggest advantage to it really is you're going to get rid of the popping on deceleration, and you're going to get rid of extra clutter and extra weight on your bike. Now, I have a project bike that's been sitting in my garage for quite some time now. It's early 2000 CB900F. I've added an aftermarket exhaust. The custom exhaust basically is popping a lot on deceleration, and that's because the pair system is adding oxygen and it's not sort of in balance. So basically I want to remove the pair system and install a set of block-off plates to cover the holes where the valves used to be. I just found a block-off plate kit online. It's a pretty good kit. This one provides block-off plates with a nice anodized black finish. It comes with a little rubber nipple, or rather a nipple cover for the air box, which you also have to block off. It's a pretty simple operation. It'll clear some clutter on the bike, shave a little bit of weight, and basically make the bike run better with the custom exhaust system that I have on there. So I've got the tools, I've got my block-off kit. Let's head out to the garage and get to work. Alright, I'm set up now in the garage beside the bike, the CB900F project bike that I have. It's called the CB900F, 900 Hornet, 919. It goes by different names, obviously all the same bike. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pop off the seat. You're going to remove the side panel that gives you access to your air box. You're going to loosen the tank hinge bolt, and then you're going to sort of pull the tank back and raise it up. Prop it up with something nice and strong. I've just got a nice sturdy box under there. Make sure it's nice and steady and sturdy so that the tank doesn't come crashing down, crushing your knuckles. All right, I'm just going to walk you through what I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to cut to sort of a POV type of view so that you can follow along with the process. But to describe what's going to happen is these right over here are your pair valves. They're right on top of your exhaust ports. Now, there are two of these, one on each side. There's one here and an identical one on the other side of the bike. You'll notice it's got a cover. Underneath that is a reed valve. You've got on either side, you've got these vacuum hoses that connect to the solenoid, which is right here behind the steering tube. There is a third vacuum hose that goes from here down towards the air box. We're going to be removing this as well. So basically, I'm just going to be unbolting these 8mm bolts, removing this cover, installing the block-off plates, and then removing the clutter over here. Going to get an 8mm socket. Now, for tight joints like that, you'll probably want a universal joint. It's one of the best inventions of man, so you can get into those tight little spaces. I'm taking a look at it now. I may need an extender. We'll see how we go. So I'm basically just gonna knock off these 8mm bolts over here. All right, we've got both the bolts off. I've actually got the vacuum hose off. I'm gonna pull the cover of the air system off. That's what you get under there. These are the reed valves, and that's in there is basically your pair system. Now you're gonna want to keep these. Look how dirty those are. Just choked up with gunk. Look how dirty those are. Just choked up with all kinds of carbon and gunk. Okay. So those are not looking too healthy. Okay, we're gonna want to keep these reed valves because we want these little gaskets. All right. So our system is, or rather, our block-off plates are made so that they can accommodate these gaskets. So we're getting rid of this cover, and we're gonna keep these reed valves. These are the valves that open and close and let oxygen in, but we're gonna keep these and just install our block-off plate on top. After we do a little bit of cleanup, just might tip this with a little bit of a fine steel brush and just get them nice and cleaned up. All right, now these reed valves are a little bit cleaner now. This is our block-off plate. You'll notice it's been recessed here with some recesses for these screw heads over here, which is pretty good. You could buy a kit like this, or you could get your machinist friend to knock off a set for you. It wouldn't take too long, but you want to make sure that there are recesses like that to make room for those screw heads. Otherwise, you'd have to grind these screw heads down so that the block-off plate will fit. Okay, I'm replacing the reed valves. Going back in there, test fitting the block-off plate. Fits pretty good. I'm gonna temporarily secure those with the Allen heads, just so nothing falls in. All right, it's a really tight squeeze to get to that 8mm bolt for the pair valve cover. I figured out that the best way to do that is to give yourself some extra room by temporarily removing the coil, the ignition coil over here. Move it out of the way so that you can get to that 8mm. All right, now from the solenoid, there's a little connector that you need to undo. It's right over here. Just pull that out, and the solenoid will just basically come off. All right, here's the little solenoid coming off. There's that little connector we had. Now there is that third vacuum tube that we need to trace back down to the air box, unplug, and cover with the little nipple that comes with our block-off kit. It's a little tough to spot, but that is the little hole on the air box that you need to plug with the rubber cover that came with the block-off kit. Now, after you bolt down the block-off plates and use the little rubber plug on the air box, you should be done. I'd use a little bit of Loctite on those little bolts just to make sure that they don't go anywhere, but once you're done, you should end up with something like this. It's a lot cleaner, a lot more clutter-free. Plus, you would have removed a little bit of extra weight from the bike, but more importantly, like I said, it's a lot cleaner and neater after you remove all that junk from the pair system. More importantly, you no longer have those vacuum tubes feeding the exhaust ports with extra O2, so you won't get any popping or backfiring on deceleration anymore. Plus, the bike is now in a better place in terms of giving you a truer baseline of the readings. If you want to use an auto-tune piggyback, something like a Power Commander, a Bazaz, or something like that, you're now in a better place to do that. Well, that's all I've got for you in this episode of The Man Cave. See you at the next one.